Cooking at home should be simple, but too often it turns into a daily battle. Maybe your air fryer sounds like a wind tunnel and still leaves your chicken dry, or your toaster oven burns one side and undercooks the other. And don't even get started on that oven that takes forever to preheat, just to deliver mediocre results. Sound familiar? That's why today we're looking closely, really closely, at the Nuwave PFAS-free steam oven and air fryer. Not just what it claims to do, but what it's actually like to use it day after day. Because if you're here, you're probably wondering, is it easy to clean? Will my baking pans fit? Can it really replace other appliances? Or is it just another gimmick? This oven combines air frying, steam cooking, sous vide, baking, and more, backed by smart humidity control, 120 presets, and a wide temperature range that goes from 50 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. It sounds impressive, but the real question is, does all that actually make your meals easier, tastier, and faster? There are a few things you need to know before deciding if this one's right for your kitchen, like how the internal space handles larger pans, or how the steam function really affects food texture. I'll cover all that in this review. No sugarcoating, just the stuff that matters when you're trying to make a smart choice. And yes, if you do want to check the specs or current price, the link is down below in the description and pinned comment. But this video is here to help you decide if it's even worth clicking. If that sounds good, tap like so this video reaches more folks looking for the same answers, and let's dive into the first real test, the build quality and design, because this machine has a few surprises you'll want to see. One of the first things people ask about this kind of multi-function oven is, will it actually fit in my kitchen? And the answer is, maybe. The Nuwave steam oven and air fryer isn't huge, but it's taller than most traditional toaster ovens. It measures about 15 inches high, which can be a tight squeeze if you have low-hanging cabinets. You'll want to check your space before committing. Now, in terms of looks, it's clean and neutral. The black and stainless steel finish doesn't scream for attention, and it blends in well with most modern appliances. But it's not a luxury build. While the outside feels solid enough, it's still a countertop appliance, and some parts, especially the touch panel, can feel a little plasticky, depending on what you're used to. The drop-down door opens wide and feels sturdy, but one detail people often overlook is the interior size versus the stated capacity. It's listed as 16 quarts, but that doesn't mean you can throw in any pan or baking dish. Some users noted their existing bakeware didn't fit, especially wider or handled pans. It's something to be aware of, especially if you plan to use it for casseroles or large bakes. Inside, the cooking chamber is stainless steel, which is a plus for cleaning and heat reflection. But because the oven is vertical, airflow and rack positioning become even more important. There's a bit of a learning curve here, especially if you're switching from a more horizontal oven layout. The control panel is touch-based, and while it looks modern, it may not be everyone's favorite. Some users mentioned that it can be overly sensitive or unresponsive at times, especially with wet hands or after longer cooking sessions. So yes, it's compact and well laid out, but not flawless. In the next section, I'll dig into how it actually performs when cooking. Because design only matters if it works in the real world. On paper, the Nuwave steam oven promises a lot. Air frying, steaming, baking, toasting, sous vide, even combinations of those. But how does that translate to everyday use? Let's start with air frying. The X-Crispy function does a good job at getting a crunchy texture with less oil. Frozen foods like fries or nuggets come out evenly browned, and the airflow does seem more consistent than cheaper models. But it's not instant. Preheat times can stretch up to 10 minutes depending on your setting, and the results really depend on how full the basket is. Overcrowding leads to soft spots, just like in most air fryers. The steam function is where things get interesting. It's designed to inject controlled humidity into the cooking process, and that really helps keep proteins from drying out. Chicken breasts, for example, come out noticeably juicier. And if you bake bread or pastries, the Steam Assist gives you that golden, crisp crust with a soft interior. But, and here's a real-world heads up, you can't manually refill a water reservoir because the system generates steam internally. So if you're expecting full-on steam oven control, this might feel limited. Sous vide without water baths sounds great in theory, and it does mimic the results. Low temp, slow cooking with moisture, but it's not quite as precise as traditional sous vide machines. That said, for everyday home cooks who want tender and juicy more than lab-grade precision, It does the job well enough. The 120 presets are a mixed bag. They're helpful if you're intimidated by temperature settings or new to steam cooking, but they can feel excessive. Not everyone needs this many auto modes. Thankfully, you can set custom times and temps manually, and that gives you better control once you get used to the machine. Noise levels are lower than many air fryers, which is nice in a small kitchen, but again, it's not silent, and fan noise kicks in during most cooking modes. Bottom line, the performance is solid, especially with steam plus convection combos. But it takes some time to get familiar with what each mode actually does. Coming up, we'll talk usability, cleanup, and the small things that either make life easier or more frustrating in day-to-day cooking. When it comes to multifunction appliances, convenience is just as important as performance. You don't want something that makes great food, but feels like a chore to use every day. So how does the Nuwave steam oven hold up in real-life usability? The control panel is fairly intuitive once you get past the learning curve. You tap to select the function, scroll through options, and press start. The LED display is bright and clear, and the touch sensitivity works fine under normal conditions. That said, if your hands are wet or oily, which happens often when cooking, it can be a little finicky. A physical dial or button backup would have helped here. One highlight is how fast it heats up. While some modes need a few minutes to preheat, the oven gets up to temperature quicker than most traditional ovens, and the internal light makes it easy to track progress without opening the door. As for interior space, this is where some limitations show up. While it's marketed as a 16-quart oven, that doesn't mean you have full freedom inside. Wider baking pans or dishes with handles may not fit properly. You'll probably need to adapt to slimmer, lower-profile cookware, especially for roasting or casseroles. It's not a deal breaker, but it's worth planning for. Cleaning is thankfully straightforward. The stainless steel chamber wipes down easily after use, and the accessories, the air fry basket, tray, and rack, are all dishwasher safe. However, because of the vertical airflow system, oil and crumbs can collect on the bottom faster than in traditional ovens, so regular wipe downs are a must. If you let it go too long, it builds up fast. One thing missing, there's no removable crumb tray like you'd find in a classic toaster oven. That means you'll have to tilt or reach inside to clean properly after heavier use. Not impossible, but definitely less convenient. As for noise, the fan isn't loud, but it does stay on for a bit after cooking finishes, which can be surprising if you're not expecting it. So, after looking at the build, the features, the performance, and the little quirks, it really comes down to one simple question. Is the Nuwave steam oven and air fryer the right fit for your kitchen? If you're someone who cooks daily and wants to simplify your setup, this oven does bring real value. The combination of steam, convection, and air fry modes can genuinely improve how your food turns out. Moist meats, crisp edges, and better texture overall. And being PFAS-free is a peace of mind bonus that not every product offers. But it's not a magic fix. You'll need some time to understand the functions, and depending on your cookware, you might have to adjust what you use day to day. The touch screen could be more responsive, and the lack of a crumb tray makes cleaning a bit more hands-on. Still, if your current setup feels limited, or if you're looking to cook healthier, faster meals with less mess, this oven does more than just look good on the counter. It's practical, flexible, and once you get the hang of it, it could absolutely become your go-to kitchen assistant. If you found this video helpful, give it a like so more people can find honest reviews like this. And if you still have questions about functions, pan sizes, presets, anything, drop them in the comments. I answer everyone. You'll find the link to check today's price and specs in the description and pinned comment, but remember, this video isn't about pushing a product. It's about helping you decide if it solves your kitchen problems. If it does, great. If not, at least now you know what to expect. And before you go, what's one kitchen gadget you bought that totally changed the way you cook? I'd love to hear your pick down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more honest, no-nonsense reviews, because every kitchen deserves gear that works as hard as you do.